Hello everyone, Namaste from myself, your host today from IAP Allergy and Applied Immunology chapter. I am here once again with yet another episode of Allergy Legend. And can you just imagine that who is with us today? It's Dr. P.K. Vedanthan. Dr. P.K. Vedanthan is one name. Whenever you talk about allergy, wherever you talk about allergy, you will always discuss his name. His name will come just as a first. So, whosoever you think that practicing an allergy in India and several other countries, they must have been touched by Dr. P.K. Vedanthan at one or the another part of their life, their academic journey, their personal journey. So, he is such type of a person. I will consider him like a grandfather of allergy in India. He has given so much to allergy and he is still giving, he is still continuing very strong. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Vedanthan with us. Sir, thank you very much for accepting our invite. Welcome,
Namaste.
sir. It is an honor to have you with us on Allergy Legends. To start with, can you briefly tell us how you describe yourself, not just as a doctor, but as a person?
First of all, thank you, Neeraj and IAP subchapter on allergy for arranging this interview. Fortunate to talk to you all. And as far as your first question, like, tell me about myself not being a doctor, is your question.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I was lucky to be born in the family I come from because I come from a very large family. It was a joint family in South India, in Mysore. My grandfather emigrated from Tamil Nadu. At that time, it was all Madras residency. This is back in the late 30s to Karnataka, which is more of a recent name. And we settled in Mysore. This is back in the 1930s. And my father was a student at Mysore Medical College. He graduated in 1939, and I still live in that same house. I still live in the same house in Mysore. It is remodeled, but in the same location. So basically, to answer your question, I come from a large joint family. We were 14, 16 of us, and we also had many animals with us. We used to breed dogs, we used to breed pigeons, we had cats. So it was like a zoo. So I was brought up in a very, very busy environment. And I also come from a family of health professionals. In addition to myself, three of my siblings are health professionals. So my background is I'm coming from a health professional type of family since childhood days. And at that time, my dad was more of an advocate of the poor. So we were surrounded by poor patients all the time. So I was exposed to compassionate medicine since childhood days. So that has been my background, has been a very busy background, but has been a very diverse background. And that is where my origin is from.
Great, sir. So means like my question is that if we understand that you are from a family of health professionals, you are an excellent doctor, but as a human being, how would you like to define yourself? How would you see yourself as a human being?
My father always taught us one thing. The most important thing is not being a doctor or an engineer, an architect, or what. First, you should be a human being. You should be a good human being. That is the most important property. So, human relationship is probably the basic thing for our existence as well as for our well being, both mental and physical. So, we have been brought up to be good human beings, fortunately, and we always respect anyone in our contacts, whatever it is, whether it's a patient, whether it is a associate, whether it is somebody I don't even know, but we always have to have mutual respect. So I am brought up in an environment where the stress has been to be a good human being.
Sir, I think this is a very excellent point which you have brought. And I always believe in the same philosophy that the doctor is something which is our profession. Our profession is a doctor, but by ourselves, we are like human being. And you rightly mentioned that give respect and deserve respect. So I think this is the right mantra which you have told. So, so now, sir, we understand that from the allergy perspective point of view. So, what drew you to the pediatric allergy specifically, and what keeps you passionate about it even today at this particular stage of your life? So, what keeps you so motivated?
No, first of all, being a physician, what you want to do is to serve your patients. That is the basic. Whether you're a pediatrician, whether you're an allergist, cardiologist, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So, what happens in allergy field is it is a field which has got a unique properties. Okay, the contact with the family, contact with the patient is very intense. You become a part of the family almost, because there is no other specialty. I cannot talk of a speak of any other specialty where a doctor spends so much time getting all the history about you, because you not only want to know patient's illness, but you also want to know patient wellness. You also want to know his living conditions. You want to know the environment he is coming from, and what where he is presently exposed to. So, and all his habits and all that. So that history that we take makes that is not only informative, but the way I look at it, it is a sort of bonding with the patient and patient family. So the history is a bonding. You become a part of it, of his family. And from patient's point of view, I have heard it myself many times. You have heard it. Patients say, I have never met a doctor who has asked me so many questions. I never had anybody ask me so many different things in my life. So I feel that this is a very special interview, doctor. Okay. So this is something this specialty offers, and this is something very, very important, integral part of our specialty is that patient bonding. And also, what happens is the way we work is we don't tell the patient do this. The important thing nowadays is you have to work with the patient. That is, so it is the doctor patient relationship, doctor patient partnership, that what makes the success for our managing the problem. So it is the partnership between the doctor and the patient and his family, rather than it's a two-way relationship.
I understand, sir. So what I understood is that you actually enjoy your work. You do not see that means like what is going on. You just go ahead with your patients, with your students, and you actually enjoy your work. You love working for the specialty. You love working teaching. You love working with the patients, and that actually keeps you motivated. So much motivated that even in the middle of the night or any time, you are always present, always available. Thank you very much, sir. So coming back, let's talk about almost 50 years back. What was your first exposure to allergy or immunology in your career? At what particular time you decided, okay, probably this is the specialty which I need to go, or the specialty is inviting me?
This is a question that can I go into a little bit more detail, Neeraj,
Yes,
with
sir, please,
this?
please.
First of all, the specialty of allergy was a extremely low profile allergy at that time. Nobody even talked about this type of specialty before. So when I came to US when I was 24 and did my residency, I took straight medical medicine. I did adult medicine for a year, and during that time, my aim was to become a cardiologist. I wanted to become a cardiologist. I spent 6 months in cardiac CCU, and I felt very comfortable doing it. But my brother, who was already there, was a pediatrician. He somehow influenced me to become a pediatrician at that time. So when I approached my medicine chief and said, I'm switching to pediatrics, he did not like it. He said, this is not a good thing you're doing. That is a wrong decision. Wrong. And with my nature, I persisted with whatever I thought would be good. I went into it. Then I realized my medicine chief was right, because pediatrics at that time had very, very little. It was I would say range of subspecialty out of pediatrics was extremely narrow, extremely narrow. and it was very, very few subspecialty specialists were there. So, and what happened was then I realized, oh, I have a problem now. I did not want to do general pediatrics. I want to become a pediatric subspecialist because my medicine chief was a respiratory physician, and he was very well known across US from Brown University, my Dr. Myron Stein. He influenced me such that I loved respiratory medicine. So I thought about maybe I should go for respiratory medicine in pediatrics. There was nothing like pediatric pulmonary medicine then. So the closest thing were pediatric allergy, where there is respiratory medicine is significant. So that is how I ended up in pediatric allergy. And to obtain a fellowship was very difficult. And I will go through that a little later when you ask me that.
So, sir, let us discuss about that. How was the training opportunities at that particular time in states, especially in pediatric allergy?
Could you repeat it because I couldn't hear it again?
So, how was the status, or what was the status of training opportunities in pediatric allergy in states at that time?
In the 70s, there were very few programs. They were far fetched. I mean, they were sort of here and there, several hundreds of miles apart. And if you take a typical allergy fellowship, say like a 700 bedded hospital in which I did my residency, 700 bedded hospital with 150 beds in pediatrics, there was only one position for allergy, one position. And naturally, the competition for it was intense. And naturally, the Caucasian physicians would get the preference. So for me, it was extremely difficult to obtain a fellowship during that period because the positions were few and the competition was intense. And the being a foreign medical graduate, you have to really prove yourself more than 100% to make it happen. So I actually applied for several places. I went in to interview for 3 or 4 places, to Michigan, to Philadelphia, Rhode Island, where I actually did my residency. I was not selected. And what happened was at that time, since my interest was fairly intense, so I started working in an allergy clinic as an assistant without any allergy training. I wanted to because the chief at that allergy clinic was the president of the American College of Allergy. He said, I will make you an allergist. Come and join me. I will help you. So I started working there. Then I found his practice was not very good, not very ethical. So I was unhappy there. And actually, I did not stay there for longer than 6 weeks. At that time, I met a Jewish physician who was there and the Jewish physician called me one day and said, PK, I just got a call from Denver. There is an unexpected opening. And do you want to go and apply for it? I said, sure, I will apply. So when I applied, it was Dr. Elliot Middleton who actually spoke to me, and Dr. Jaime Chai. These were the two directors. And they said, come over, we will interview you. By that time, financially, I was not doing well at all because I had spent all the money for other interviews. I had no money at all even for the airfare. I told him I did not have any money for airfare. Can you please pay for my fare? They said, no, we are not going to pay for you. We will call you tomorrow. So they called me next day and said, we will interview you on the phone. So I was on the phone for the next 5 days, 1 hour each. And I was interviewed on the phone. And they said this is the first time they're interviewing anyone on the phone for a fellowship. And fortunately, I would say by the grace of God, I was selected for the best program in the country. So, National, Children's Asthma Research Institute and Hospital, which merged with National Jewish later. So it was sort of an act of providence. I'm not taking credit for it. So it is just God wanted me to be an allergist. That is the way I look at it. It is not like I just want to be an allergist. God wanted me to do this work. And that is the way I have, even until today, I believe it.
I fully believe that, sir. I have seen with you, I have worked with you, and I fully believe that, yes, definitely it is the God wish that even we were also fortunate to have you like God of allergy. I consider it like
Oh,
that
no.
way. So definitely, God, it was the God wish, and it was good for every one of us, not only for you, for
Thank
every
you
one
very
of us.
much.
Sir, can you please tell us about a few mentors which you met in your early days in the pediatric allergy specialty or the allergy specialty who have made significant influence on your career.
During my training, again, because it was such a high profile program, top allergists from not only USA, across the globe would visit our center. So I was exposed to global allergists, to national allergists and immunologists who would come to our center to give us a speech because usually their talk would be to us on a Tuesday. Next day morning was the grand rounds at National Jewish. That's the reason why they came. So they did. So we used to get all these top people to our institute on a Tuesdays. So I was exposed to incredible teachers, and I was very fortunate. If you look at my close contact on a day-to-day patient type of contact, was Dr. Elliot Middleton, was one of my primary teachers. Dr. Jaime Chive was an incredible clinician. Dr. Hal Nelson, who was my teacher, and I worked with him at Fitzsimmons Hospital. There were four programs in Denver at that time. We used to rotate. There were 16 fellows in Denver. So it was the largest program on the globe, actually, allergy program. So Dr. Henry Clement, Dr. Hal Nelson, Dr. Elliot Middleton, Dr. Jaime Chai, and Dr. Talmage. You might not have heard his name. He's a very senior. And Dr. Cohen. Those are the names I remember. Later on, Dr. Sheldon Spector, Dr. Driskin, and Dr. Andy Liu. They all have influenced, and I have been extremely fortunate to be associated with such great teachers.
Great, sir. I was even fortunate when I was in National Jewish that at that time I met Dr. Harold Nelson, and definitely Dr. Middleton's book is considered to be the Bible of
Yes,
allergy. So I can understand that how fortunate you are and how fortunate we are. Sir, what we have heard is that IgE discovery that also happened in the nearby place which you have worked. Can you please elaborate a little bit about this IgE discovery and the group or the people who actually discovered that how these people were and what was their interaction or your interaction with them or their laboratory or how you can you please briefly describe the place where this IgE discovery happened?
IgE, the hallmark of allergy, was discovered in 1968 independently by a Japanese couple, Teruko and Kimijake Ishizaka, at CARI. CARI means Children's Asthma Research Institute and Hospital, where I did my fellowship. They worked very hard, extremely hard, and discovered it in 1968. I joined that institute later. When I joined the institute, it was 1974. But we knew that this couple worked there, and we were shown the room where they were working, at the desk where they were working. And that is the place where IgE was discovered. At the same institute, two rooms from where we used to work as fellows. This couple worked day and night and discovered IgE. So IgE was discovered in Denver at Children's Asthma Research Institute and Hospital. And the following year, Dr. Johannesson in Uppsala, Sweden, discovered it independently by a different route where he had a patient with myeloma of the B cells producing lots of IgE. So Ishizaka's, I have never met him because he went into, I think he went to John Hopkins, I think in Baltimore, and both the couple, and we have been very, very fortunate to be associated with an institute like CARI, where IgE was discovered. Yes, it was discovered in Denver.
Great, sir. Sir, your initial 15 years or 20 years when your practice was mainly centered in USA. So, can you please tell us about your education, your training, your initial years of career, that how you set up your things or what you did in the initial one and a half decade when you were mainly in USA?
My US, my stay in USA, I would say professionally speaking, has been a very positive experience right from day one. Okay. It was not easy. It was a very hard training, right from internship and residency and fellowship. But harder means we learned every day. It was not easy. It is like a 24-hour learning. And as fellows too, we were on call every other night. So when I got into the real world situation in private practice, what I wanted to make sure was I remained in contact with an academic institution. That's the reason I stayed back in Colorado. There at that time in the 70s, we had opportunities all over the country. All over the country, there were openings for us because anybody trained in Denver would be welcome anywhere. So, but I wanted to stay in Denver because of the academic institutions, because that is like a mecca for allergy. That is the mecca. And that has helped me until today. That affiliation with University of Colorado, National Jewish Hospital, working closely with those specialists, being in contact with them on a frequent basis has helped me not only to practice good medicine, but also be sort of blessed with academic environment. And so, although I started solo as a private practitioner about 60 miles north in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I was busy from day one because the demand was so high. I had patients from 100 to 200 miles coming into our clinic. So we had a very successful private consultation clinic. So in about 10 years of practice, I had like four other partners, associates with us. So what has helped me having these associates allowed me to follow my passion. The passion was doing something for India. And also, the other passion was to maintain academic relationship with the university. So, those passions were satisfied by having these associates with me. So, that freed me for I would be free for 6 to 12 weeks every month. I would come, even when I was extremely busy, and spend time in India doing all these different camps and CMEs and all these things. So, I was fortunate that way.
So yes, sir. So coming to now this question, that approximately in which year or but what time period you actually started coming to India, especially from the allergy education or allergy health camps point of view.
I distinctly remember I have been coming to India every year since I went to US, but distinctly for allergy type of thing, I distinctly remember the year 1986 because in 1986 I know by that time we were already um, you know coming there and realizing the need for such services there, and that is the first time we did the asthma allergy camp in Bangalore at KC General Hospital in Malleshwaram. If people in from Bangalore, they will know. It's a government hospital. And since there was no other buddy to work with me in the allergy field, I had a pulmonologist friend, Dr. Chandrasekhar, who joined me. Myself, Dr. H.B. Chandrasekhar, and Kamala assisted me because he was an allergy assistant when I used to work in the training program. So, three of us, along with all the Rotarians who helped us and assistants, we conducted the first allergy camp I would say that was the first ever allergy asthma camp in India. That is what I was told. And 500 patients showed up on that day. It took us 3 days to clear it up. And that gave me a very clear message that the disease burden of allergy and asthma, especially asthma, is very heavy in India. And that experience of seeing so many patients in those 3 days stayed with me. And the following year, so I got a group together of doctors from US. We put our funds together, put our expertise together, and opened the first allergy asthma clinic in Bangalore in 1987. It's called Karnataka Asthma Allergy Clinic. Then it evolved into different things, and it was a heavily subsidized clinic we started. So the first clinic was opened in South India was in Bangalore in 1987 by our group.
Right, sir. So, what I understand that this was nearly like a journey of almost past 4 decades. You started somewhere in 1986, and today is 2025. So, this is nearly 4 decades which have spent. So, if we would like to, you can say like split this journey into two parts, like the initial 2 decades from 1986. So, let's say 2005, 2006, and the next 2 decades. So, the initial 2 decades, definitely there must be a lot of challenges where no word of allergy which was there. You started it from scratch. So would you like to enumerate some of the challenges that which you faced, and then how you overcame through those challenges, especially in the initial 2 decades or initial 20 years of your campaign here in India?
You divided those 40 years very clearly, Neeraj. That is exactly what happened from 1986 to 2006. This was the period that the stress, the for us, the basic idea was to improve the care of an asthmatic. That was our idea. Physicians were actually reluctant to speak to us. They did not even understand, or they did not want to understand what is this allergy. So there was quite a bit of resistance to the word allergy. They did not say, what is this allergy business? They knew asthma, but not allergy. So it was a challenge. But the the interesting part, the public believed in allergy, not the physician, not the medical profession. The public believed in allergy. They wanted to know more about allergy than the medical profession, and that actually helped us to do these public allergy awareness camps. And we did something unbelievable. We probably did about 250 camps in India in about 40 to 45 different locations over a period of 10 years with the help of several organizations like Rotary, Lions, churches, schools, hospitals, medical institutions, non-medical institutions, you name it, you got it. So that the type of work took me to nooks and corners of India, and that was probably one of the most incredible experiences I ever had, where I would be taken to so many different places in India, including Sundarbans. Sundarbans, very few people have gone there. But when I used to go to these place in called Barakpur in the suburbs of Calcutta, where I was hosted by not physicians. These were ordinary young people. One was a lab tech, another was a telephone employee, another was an unemployed person, another was a sweetmeat stall owner. These people wanted to do something for the community. They said, Doctor, please do something for our children. Let us improve the asthma care. Then some few physicians would join me to do some volunteer work, and we did this type of work in Calcutta, and we ended up spending 4 days on the boats in the Sundarbans, going from island to island. So I just wanted to mention that because this is a nook and corner. Very few Indians would even go to such places, but this type of work, doing this allergy asthma awareness camp, took me to nooks and corners. And what happened over the next 20 years, we had probably seen several thousands of patients. Another thing that happened, very important thing, was since I was in the Rotary, it opened up the gates for international work. In addition to India, I was invited to do work in Kenya. I was invited in Mauritius, in Philippines, and Fiji, Russia, and I don't even remember some of the names. So okay, anyway, so it was a global type of uh, type of experience. So we must have evaluated about 45,000 patients free of charge during that period. And we probably had about minimum at least 500 physicians as volunteers with us, and several, at least 1,000 other non-physician volunteers. So it was a huge movement. So what happened at the end of all that is the awareness increased among not only the public but also the physicians. It took a while to do that. And that is when this partnership with CMC happened in 2006. So the first 20 years was mostly related to a public campaign, I would say, of allergy and asthma.
So these 20 years, what I understand that you have interacted to the ground level, to the grassroots. You interacted with a lot of patients, you interacted with a lot of community people, you interacted with different people actually across India and probably to different countries also. So in this journey of 20 years, the initial 20 years, I think you must have experienced a lot of interaction, you must have remembered, you must have met with a lot of people. Can you tell us some one or two person who has made you, you can say like, uh, to think something special meeting with a patient, with a community person, which you distinctly remember, okay, this particular person has actually given you motivated, or probably that particular talk has influenced you highly. So I'm talking about a community person, lay person, or a patient.
I have several like that, because I was myself a Rotarian and I work with Rotary clubs and several other service clubs. Rotarians are basically leaders in their communities, and they are volunteers, and they are we're quite well to do in India. Unlike other countries, they are all very well to do and they have a lot of influence. And these people, when they came to know that we were doing asthma camps, they would arrange everything for us, and they would volunteer all their services with us doing that work. So one of the persons who really did something significant for me was, I will just pick one person, is Dr. Mr. Ashok Zaveri from Mumbai. He's a close family friend. So the reason why I mentioned family friend is, when we do asthma camps, when I go to a community, I would tell them, I don't want to stay in a hotel. Don't waste your money putting me up in a hotel. I don't mind staying in the house. So I stayed in many, many, many different houses, and that actually made our relationship much closer. And Kamala would go and start working in the kitchen, and that made it much closer. So it was like a family type of relationship. So this actually helped us a lot to build a long-term relationship, not just go and do asthma and disappear. It was a long-term friendship and relationship. So Mr. Zaveri he was uh, he was actually a US returned, I would say, biochemist, and had his own pharmaceutical company in a place called Vapi in Gujarat. So both of us will go by Shatabdi train to Vapi, and there was a Rotary hospital. They would have arranged this whole camp. There will be, once we entered this hospital, there will be 80 people sitting right there waiting for us, and we spend time. Whenever we did this type of camp, we don't just see them and send them home. We keep all these 80 people with us all day, because the basic idea of the camp was not to give medicines but to educate them. So we would educate them in small groups, bigger groups, on a one-to-one basis. So we would use medical students, we would use pharma people, we would do Rotary volunteers, because there was language issues. So anytime I talked, there would be an interpreter for me. So we would educate them at all different levels. By the end of the day, that person would have some knowledge what asthma is, when I should take an inhaler, how I should take an inhaler, when I should call a doctor. This type of knowledge was inculcated into all these patients, and we go to the same place at least 3 times. So Mr. Laveri would take me there every time. He would accompany me, work with me from morning till evening. We stay there for 3 days in a hotel, and we did that. And same place I did in Ichal Karanji, Sangli in Maharashtra. The same thing we did in several parts of Bangalore, in Kerala, as well as in Kolkata, Barakpur, like that. So many places are there, and very same type of formula we did. The thing I found most um, I would say it is, you don't go to a community telling them, I'm going to teach you. We always went to a community, I want to learn from you and I will share whatever I know. That was our motto. So we learned a lot, and that with that type of motto, we were able to work in all these different locations. Say, for example, in Kenya, if you look at Nairobi, again, Rotarian, one Balla from, is a Balla family, a huge family, and they actually Punjabis, and they have settled there for 2 3 generations. We always would stay in their house. The whole family would get involved with us, and we would do the asthma camps at the MP Shah Hospital. We set up respiratory units there. And another very, very notable person extremely notable person was Mr. Rajani. Rajani from he was the CEO for Kenya Steel Company in Mombasa. So we would work at the Mombasa hospital there. I forget the name of the hospital. So we have worked with all these different type of personalities, and they're still our friends. After so many years, we have been friends. Several people have died, but their children still keep in touch. So I have many, many fond memories, you know, in all these locations. So this is, I can write a book on it if you want, but so much experience.
I can really imagine, sir, how the things have went. And I am just listening to you and finding it so interesting and simultaneously so difficult for you for the initial years. And now we are coming to the next 20 years. Means like what happened in 2006 or how the things turned in 2006 onward.
Let me go to 2004, 2003. We did a little survey of the impact of the work we had been doing all those years about doing these different asthma, allergy, asthma camps. The feedback that I got was marginal after that much of work. That is, as far as physicians went. The physicians felt there was still a lot to be done, and this is the public are maybe sort of, if you look at the overall care of asthma, it was still not that great even after working for 15, 20 years. Then I thought, maybe our focus should shift from public to health professionals, because health professionals make a major difference. And the time had come by that time, because there was initially resistance in the 80s and 90s. By 2000, there was more reception to listen to us. They themselves would ask, come and do a CME for us. The academy, associations would call me and say, can you please talk? Say, for example, I still remember Lung India, the founder, Dr. Ramakrishnan. He is like a godfather for pulmonologists. He invited me to Delhi to Chennai. He invited Dr. PK, come and talk to us. I went to Madras Medical College and talked there. Dr. Thiruvengadam, the medicine chief. So I started getting invitations from physicians in India to talk about allergy and asthma. I met some extremely capable pulmonologists. They were all pulmonologists, they were not allergists. So the climate was changing. That is what I'm trying to say. The physicians were getting a little bit more serious about learning about all this type of issue. And during this time, there was a conference in Mumbai, international conference where I went, and Dr. Anjuli Nayak from Illinois, USA, had come also. She's a very, very close friend. She's a very well-known allergy specialist, has done quite a bit of work here, and was extremely active in the American Academy of Allergy. Is a big donor to the American Academy, and also had done some work with Dr. DJ Christopher for CMC. She had helped him to set up some things there. So they were friends. So Dr. DJ Christopher, whom I never knew before, was also in Mumbai that day when I was there, to just come and say hello to Anjuli Naik, because he had like a 6 hour gap in his between flights. So he came to this hotel Oberoi. I wanted to see her, and at that time there was some repairs going on, so I got confused and took the wrong escalator, and I saw Dr. DJ and this Anjuli Naik coming down, and I was going up. They waved at my hand, and they say, even from escalator to escalator, she introduced me to DJ. Hey, this is the guy you should meet. And I said, okay. Then I came down, and our meeting occurred on a chair right there by the side of the escalator between myself and Dr. DJ and Dr. Anjuli Nayak. And that was a breakthrough meeting. Then we came to know that we had a common ground, that we were all interested. And that was the start of DAA.
So this is in which year you met with Dr. DJ Christopher?
Actually, 2005.
2005.
It took us
And
1 year.
right, sir. And then the DAA program started in which year, sir?
2006.
Right. So now the DAA program started in 2006, and we are right now standing somewhere in 2025. So, can you please elaborate or tell us about the educational journey or the academic journey of India about the subject of allergy in past 19 or 20 years?
I fail if I did not mention Dr. P. A. Mahesh here, because I came back to Mysore after that meeting. I told Dr. Mahesh about it. And Dr. Mahesh and myself traveled to CMC Vellore and met DJ several times. We went to CMC Vellore, not just once, three, four, five times we went, had meetings at DJ's office. And that is how we formulated the DAA program. Started in July of 2006. And I actually talked about this program at the Rotary Club in my Rotary Club in Fort Collins, Colorado. They gave me some money for the program also to set it up. So it was a very, very humble start. We were not sure whether this will go. 20 students we took, and we had faculty from local, national, and Dr. I forgot her name. She passed away. Mm. There was a lady from US who also was a faculty. So it was a humble beginning. 20 graduates, 20 doctors graduated from the program in 2007. And gradually that program got more noticeable. For the first time, there was a formal program in the field of allergy in India. So it got the attention of the doctors. And suddenly we had the surge of applications. And from 2007, 2008, we had to increase the intake from 20 to 30 to 40 gradually overall. I think then the program became more and more popular. And over a period of time, the involvement of the international faculty was also very, very credible, incredible. Say, for example, 2007 itself, they were highly interested what I was doing in India, because we at our organization IAS, I forgot to mention, was started in 1992, International Asthma Services, in 1992, and our board. We have two boards, the regular board and the advisory board, had Dr. Henry Clayman, Dr. Steve Driskin, Dr. Harold Nelson. They're all on our board. So they wanted to know what we were doing in India. And we would exchange all our information with them. And they were highly interested to come and see. And Dr. Clayman came to CMC Vellore in 2007 and became and acted as a faculty and spent time there. And that gave a huge boost to the organization and to the course. And so after that, there was nothing like seeing back. After that, around, I think you passed out in Neeraj in
2017.
2009,
2017.
2017,
2017, sir.
17?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After by that time, we had already been fairly well known in India. Then you started we found that pediatric allergy was not addressed that well, and that is when, and the demand was so high, you started the DPAA program in Delhi, and more other programs started. The diploma allergy, asthma immunology in Calcutta moved to Kozhikode. By that time, Dr. Balachandra, who had graduated, wanted to do something online. I was a little reluctant initially. Then he himself took a course in IT and convinced it was probably a good move. So we started doing that. That has also flourished very well. So we have 7 or 8 programs now. In addition to all that, Dr. Bharatha Reddy, one of our own alumni, approached me and said, Doctor, we need to spend, there are so many people with sleep disorders and allergies, so we need to have a program. So we worked with Children's Hospital in Denver and started that program. So it has been a sort of a, I would say, like you call it allergic march. Here we can say it is the allergic education march in India. It has been just growing and growing, and it has helped, hopefully, many, many, many students, many patients for sure, and families, many doctors, medical students, as well as yeah, our own colleagues all over. So our programs now are well recognized beyond India. You know that already. And you actually have done a lot to spread the news across the globe, Neeraj.
Sir, as I understand that your first program started in 2006. Before that, probably there were only a handful or very limited allergists. Like now, in last 20 years, we are staying here in 2025, mid of 2025. What should be or what would be an approximate number of, you can say like allergists who have got some training in allergy in India? The current number, approximation.
The first program I have to say was started in Delhi by Vallabhai Patel Chest Institute, but by the allergy father, Dr. Shivpuri. So that was already there when this started in probably in the 80s, when we started the program at CMC Vellore. But that was a smaller, shorter program, but that was one program which has been there for a long time until now also. So now, with all the programs started, with so many other than IAS sponsored courses, there are programs out of from IAP, from Savita University, and there could be some smaller courses happening in different parts of the world. People have graduated with the different trainings and all that. My feeling about the number of allergy practitioners, I would call, in India is around 3,200 to 3,500 at this time, is my
Madam,
approximation.
this is really phenomenal.
And it was very interesting in 1986, about 40 years ago, I could not find one single allergist in South India to refer my patient. Not one. So we have come a long way. Now you can find an allergy specialist every 15, 20 miles average, in many places. In Bangalore itself, we have about 100 of them in Bangalore, you know.
Yes, sir. This is truly remarkable that we are now having nearly, you can say like above 3,000, close to 3,500 allergy practitioners in India. So I understand you have beautifully elaborated your journey over past 4 or 5 decades, and I'm sure you must have to fight with some sort of skepticism about allergy as a specialty, at least at some point of time. Not now, even you might have faced it in the initial years. So would you like to highlight 1 or 2 points from there, that some episodes of skepticism which you needed to fight, especially for the allergy specialty?
The skepticism is inspired. You see, the what we try to do in our courses, we always make it clear, just because you do DAA or DPAA, DA, whatever course, does not mean you will become an allergist right away. To become an allergist, it is an evolutionary thing. You evolve over a period of time. You have to see hundreds of patients. You have to interact. You have to study a lot of journals, attend conferences, and it takes almost 4 or 5 years to become a mature allergy practitioners. And then you can definitely say you are an allergy specialist by that time. So what we are doing with all these courses, Neeraj, is to lay a foundation. We are giving you a foundation. We are giving you a good, solid foundation for you to build yourself up. Because these are all, we deal with mostly all postgraduate doctors who are very, very mature individuals, and we don't expect them to be spoon fed. So we expect them to educate themselves by studying and to take initiative. And that is exactly what is happening. Not everybody is able to do it. Some people do it very well. Some people don't do it moderately. Some people don't do it. So that we see in every field. So I would say out of 3,500, about 30% are pretty decent, have done quite a bit. The other 25-30% may be moderate, another 20% may not be. That is okay. That is a normal average. So what happens is, so over a period of time, once they develop a passion, which is an inborn, it should come from inside. There is nothing like stop. They will keep on going, 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 and that becomes their love for a profession. They will dedicate their lives to it. And that is exactly what we want. That is exactly what these are the people who will make a difference. These are the people who will make a difference in the direction in which we are going, because we have shown this is the way to go, but they actually not only go that way, that also will change to better directions. So I always believe younger people are much more imaginative. They are equipped with lot more technology than we are. So the combination of passion, combination of knowledge, combination of technology, these three things, there is no other way to. This is a definite, like a green signal for progress. That is the green signal. We are not technologically that savvy, but you guys are. So this is the way to go. And what we have done is we have shown you the pathway, and what you are going to do is to build a broad avenue.
So we discussed about the evolution of allergy specialty or allergy practice among the community or the patients. We discussed about the evolution of allergy practitioners. Let's talk about specialty now. That means what changes you have witnessed towards, you can say, like diagnostic tools, therapeutic tools, or probably preventive tools evolution in this country about the subject of allergy in past few decades.
You see, the thing what's happening, Neeraj, is as I mentioned, we are giving a good foundation here, but practical training is lacking. Okay, so we need people to start practice. That's why we say, as you are getting trained, start doing things. So practical training has to be stressed more. Then we always have to stress the our physicians to spend a lot of time with the patients and not just depend on tests, because it in our specialty history is the most important. They need to spend more time and taking a good history. And technology has grown by leaps and bounds, probably much faster than our own knowledge. Actually, it is really unbelievable. Clinical knowledge and technology, they may look parallel, but the technology has grown much faster. So we need to be also not only appreciative of it, but we also have to be cautious about it, because we need to be selective. This is where selection of tests it comes to a sort of a meaningful decision. What test would I use? So the test has to be complement whatever the history is given. The test has to be cost effective, and test has to be patient specific, which should be beneficial to the patient. And so based upon these three things, you select whatever you want to do. And we have a huge number of tests that you could do, but we are the judges to pick which tests I would use for the patient, and do it judiciously, with always having patient in mind, not ourselves in mind. So we should be the patient advocate. So the that is why, if you look at the later issues of JACI. I don't know if you saw October issue of JACI. Whole volume of JACI in practice is dedicated to what we call as shared medical management. Shared medical. So you don't go on directing what we call as a written management to the patient. Now, how can I share the management with the patient? So we take the patient into confidence, and we work with the patient. So because patient, you may say this is the thing you do, but patient may not be able to do it. So you have to share the management with the patient, whatever he can do, whatever you can offer. So it will be a highly personalized type of approach. See, that is what we should do. So I would say India has a lot of good future. Technology is picked up much faster here than any other country. Changes happen here in much faster. But what has to change is the physician involvement in human relationships. The doctors should become patient advocates, not self advocates. They should think about from patient's point of view. is very important, not just disease point of view, patient point of view
So,
is very important.
what are your comments about the, you can say, like the changes in the allergen extracts availability? That means from the diagnostic or from the therapeutic point of view. So, do you really feel that in past 2 decades or so, the allergen extracts have also improved, or the ways which have improved for testing or for immunotherapy or something like that in India?
Definitely it will improve. Definite. You see what stages that you are going through, every country has gone through this. Every country, including USA, has gone through it. I still remember in the 70s, the extracts were not that potent. They were not standardized. They were very, very crude. But now the type of extracts we get, the same company, the same country is much more different. We never knew what is this microgram percent. We did not know that you should do what the dosage of dust mite. So it was like a shot in the dark type of therapy. So the technology, the stage that we are in India, maybe a couple of decades behind US, but the India is very fastly picking it up. So I would say in another 10 years or maybe less, you will be at the same level as US, same level as US for all these different type of extracts. I would say that because the technology is there. Our Indian community, the technological people are so motivated. They are definitely going to do it. So I have full confidence that you will have fantastic extracts in India available both for diagnosis and treatment. And also, the multinational companies from the West are looking at India very differently than what they were 20 years ago. They look at this as a huge market. We have something like 300 to 400 million middle class. It will become more and more. And allergy disease, is a very income producing specialty thing for them. So they look at all that. So many multinational companies will be competing here to set up lab, and they will work with us to make sure we have all the high class extracts that are available in other countries. It is happening.
So when we are discussing about future, so sir, you are a torch bearer in the subject of allergy in this part of the world. I can understand that you took the torch from your mentors nearly 5 decades back or half century back, and now you're still going stronger and stronger. Can you mention about a few people about whom you feel, at least from your students or from your colleagues or somebody, who are likely to take this legacy forward? Definitely, they will be. You have already told probably 300, 400, 500 people, so you cannot name everyone, but just to probably, you can say, like, mention that okay, these people might be taking the future forward just for the sake.
Sometimes, it is delicate to mention names on a public forum, but I don't mind talking about a few because I feel that there are certain promising people who have shown major interest, whom I have interacted a lot, whom I feel will carry the torch forward, and our organization, I've been associated with all the activities of International Asthma Services since inception. So we are in four different spheres. One is education, second is charity, third is the research portion, the fourth is the setting up of different technology and the transfer of technology. The major portion is medical education. So we have both national level and international level. Okay. So at the international level, it is basically, since it's a US based organization, we have people here who are working at this level. So what I have done is I am also getting older, and it for me it makes sense to, I would say, I don't know to use the word, to groom these people to take over whatever I am doing. Okay. So I've already talked to few people. Okay. I've already talked to few people because the person I feel internationally who can do some work and keep the ship going in the proper direction is Dr. Vinay Mehta. He has been with me since for the last 2 decades, 15 years, and worked with me closely and does a wonderful job. And he is a very, very reliable, he's like a stone rock guy and extremely dedicated to the specialty and to the advancement of the specialty in India. And he has never missed. The minute he comes back from India, he already books his tickets for the next trip. That is Vinay.
Great, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to
Okay.
ask you one question. Like to ask you one question. What core skills or mindset should young pediatrician develop if they
No,
wish to?
I have not finished the previous one yet.
Oh, you want to go for some more names also?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
See, I mentioned about international. So I have to take national now. I have to take national. So national would be again coming to academics, research, as well as charity. Okay. Here I have for academics, I have Sitesh Roy and yourself. Okay, because you can get a lot of things done, and he has got tons of knowledge who can really represent a lot of, he's very well trained and speak and express very well. He's too busy to do too many things, but he has got lots of knowledge he can extract from him. So, and you have the passion, you have got the ambition, you can really go get things done, and you have shown it by example, the advancement of the specialty by leaps and bounds. Neeraj, we are very proud of you. So that is one. Charity wise is Dan Purushottam. He is a guy who is dedicated, and I am going to have him run our Prana initiative, do that. Now coming to the to do the research part and all that, we have a fantastic research team headed by Dr. Tirumala from UK, Dr. DJ Christopher. We also work with so many, and Dr. Mahesh, excellent researcher. I have talked to him, and he will be closely working. So these are the different teams, these are the different people I have in mind to share my type of this what I would say, this initiative at different levels, because each one excels in their own ways. And as far as networking, Dr. Gayatri Pandit, Cynthia Sinchana, they're doing a wonderful job, to building up. Networking is very, very important. Networking to elevate the specialty networking. And the networking, Annie should have its own journal one day. It should grow into a national, it should have its own journal. So these are the things that are happening. So this is the, I have been very bold enough to mention names on the public forum. Okay. And that is okay because I can always defend that. And I appreciate all the work that has been done by these people for the advancement of the specialty in India. And Dr. Balachandra, I forgot to mention, for the advancement of online education. So this type of approach has will make our you, as far as the extracts go, Mr. Gururaj has put in a lot of money. Nitin and all these people have done a wonderful job in keeping. So I hope this thing will move forward in a very positive manner.
Great, sir. So, what core skills or mindset should young pediatricians develop if they wish to pursue allergy? What is your message to them?
Message is, spend some time with those patients whom you think have allergy, and do not believe this sentence that you will outgrow allergy. You will not outgrow allergy. Allergy is a progressive disease. It has waxes and wanes, but it is a progressive disease. So once a pediatrician suspects this child has allergy, he should pay a little bit more attention rather than just giving some medicines and say, just take it and come see me next year or something like that. Pay more attention. And probably one of the things to do is for the pediatricians to even do a few skin tests. We actually in US, what we teach the general pediatrician to do a few skin tests. in their office, maybe 4 or 5 skin tests. They just do it, and they feel they are a part of the team that way. So general pediatricians should start doing a few skin tests. And by doing the skin test, two things happen. One, you are making something, an objective type of, a confirmatory type of test to your clinical suspicion. And plus, the family will appreciate that doctor is doing something to diagnose for my child. Third thing, they will be more compliant with some environmental control, which can start at a general pediatrician level. Environmental control doesn't have to start at the allergist level. It has to start at pediatrician level. But there is a gap of several years before the patient comes from a general doctor to a specialist. Some people may not come at all. So environmental measures should start with general pediatrics. So these people should know exactly what to say and what not to say. And so skin test, we teach general pediatricians to do skin test, start environmental control, and then share that patient, refer the patient the the allergist, because allergist can spend much more time. He can go much more into detail, and he is the only person who can do immunotherapy. Allergist is the only person who can do allergen immunotherapy, whether it's slit or skit or oral, whatever. He will be the person. Just like cardiologist is the one who can do the cath, not a internal medicine guy. Similarly, allergist is the guy who will do immunotherapy, not a generalist. Allergist is the one who will order CRD, not a generalist. Allergist is the person who will do these special procedures like giving biologicals, not a generalist. So we need to have this type of approach. So people should understand what they can do and what they cannot do.
Right, sir. So now we are sitting here in 2025, and where do you think, or if I would request you to draft a 5 year agenda, let's say 2030, where you want to see, or you see that, okay, this agenda should be there for the next 5 years, and how the national bodies like Indian Academy of Pediatrics or National Board or academic institutions can play their part in achieving that agenda?
I don't know much about all these different association, Neeraj, because I am not a member of any, plus I am not involved with too much. But I know, just looking as a spectator who is involved very much in what is happening, I feel the basic need of the specialty is to have a DM. You have to have a DM in allergy, in a reputable institution. And that is going to be a breakthrough. And a 2 year full fellowship where there is, once you have a DM is the person who will run the fellowship. Okay. Because you need a fully qualified guy who can run a 2 year fellowship, who is there all, even if you have one place in the country doing this, it will make a major difference, because that one place can breed more places. Okay. Even if you have 5 DMs for the whole country, it will make a big difference. 5 DMs will make a big difference, but you have to have at least beginning one DM. And that is what my vision is for the specialty. And all the other things like technological things, mentioning about lab and all these different things, better skin test material, better antigen material, all those things will happen irrespective whether you have DM or not. Those things will move on. That is technology, that is business, that is happening with that happens parallelly. But for us, we should also impress upon the NMC, whatever, to say this is a recognized subspecialty, you know, which is true, which is happening in, which is a thing in many countries. And that will happen only when you have something like a DM. They will look at it seriously.
This is by national board only, sir. So that what I meant for. This is by national board. So you rightly mentioned this is by national board only.
Pardon? National board, yes.
Yes, yes, right, sir. So, sir, we are coming to the last end of the interview part. So, in which I will be just putting some simple questions, and very brief answer is expected. Could be one word or probably one line. That's all. So, a myth about allergies you would like to bust.
Allergy is in your immune system, not in your head.
So, one allergy tool or test you absolutely trust,
One allergy tool.
or test which you absolutely trust in allergy practice.
allergy test which I absolutely trust. Test you're talking.
Yes,
I
sir.
would say well done allergy skin test using reliable test material is indicative of a definite sensitization.
Sir, your favorite scientific journal or go-to resource?
Can I go back to the previous question again? The more than the test, I also want to tell that history is a very important portion. History,
Right.
good
Right.
history and skin test. Yes. A
Right.
third one, what is it?
Sir, your favorite scientific journal or go-to resource?
I always go to naturally. The one I really love to read is JACI, Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology, and all the three different ones. But the one in practice is extremely useful. Allergy JSI in practice is extremely useful, and I'm very happy that our alumni are able to have access to it.
Sir, one clinical pearl that you wish every pediatrician should know?
Clinical pearl. Listen to the patient.
Sir, one allergist in India which you admire other than yourself?
That's a tough one.
It's okay. It's okay if you are unable to answer. That's okay, sir. That's fine.
There are several, everyone has their own positives. I know a bunch of them. I
Okay.
know at least, so I know a bunch of them.
Right, sir. Sir, a book or a quote or a philosophy that guides your passion, that guides your practice.
A book or sorry,
A
uh,
book or a quote or a philosophy, anything which you believe very strongly and that actually guides you.
I am a follower of Swami Vivekananda. Okay. So many times, one of the things Swami says is not to be afraid. Especially, many times we are afraid to tell the truth. So you need guts to tell the truth, and always truth prevails. So I really am an admirer and follower of Swami Vivekananda.
Sir, another little tough one. If you weren't a doctor, what would you have been? What do you feel?
A cook.
Oh, that's good. That's good, sir. That's good. So, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your wisdom and journey. Before we sign off, any message for young allergists or a wish for the future of allergy care in India?
I'm sorry, I didn't pay. I was.
Sir, any message for young allergists or a wish for the future of allergy care in India?
No, first thing is be knowledgeable. Next thing is be a patient advocate. Third thing is be compassionate. That's it.
Sir, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Vedanthan, sir. Means like I was fortunate to have your interview in this Allergy Legend series. And believe me that this particular episode, this particular interview is going to help, going to motivate, going to, you can say like push so many people. Even I got motivated in past 1 hour of interview. So many people will get motivated after listening from you and hearing from you about your journey, about your passion, and your thinking, your thoughts about the specialty. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time with us. So, thank you, everyone. And this brings to the end of a very, very high impact interview by none other than Dr. P.K. Vedanthan, which we can consider like a god of allergy, at least in this part of the country, who has really created all of us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we will come back to you once again with another episode with another legend. But for then, thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.